You ever have one of those moments where something smell a sandwich, a smile, a habit you don't even think about turns out to be the one thing that saves somebody's life? Yeah, well, I didn't believe it either. Not really. Not until I saw it with my own eyes at Mary Thompson's wedding. And let me tell you, nobody saw it coming. Not her, not the guests, certainly not me, standing there like an extra in someone else's movie jaw on the ground. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up a sec, start at the beginning, because this story, it doesn't start with wedding bells or a happy tears. It starts on a cold concrete sidewalk at exactly 7:15 a.m., the kind of morning where you can see your breath and the city feels too busy to notice anyone who doesn't fit. Every single day, rain or shine, Mary Thompson would step out of her apartment lunch bag in one hand, an old dented thermos in the other. No fancy coat, just that kind of walk that says she's got a purpose, even if no one else can see it. And she didn't head downtown to some glass tower or corner office. No, sir. She headed straight to the public school 3 blocks over, where she worked as a librarian. But that wasn't what made her remarkable. Not to me, not to anyone who really watched. What set Mary apart was her ritual, one nobody noticed but me and, well, Joe. See, on the corner of 5th and Main, every morning, there was this man Joe Gray, beard wild as winter, layers of clothes stacked like he'd never met a summer that could sweat him out, boots that might have walked through every storm life ever threw at him. Most people, you know how it is, they look right through folks like that, like they're not even there, just part of the sidewalk, another crack, another shadow. But not Mary. Never Mary. She always saw him, didn't need to know his story, didn't need a reason. She just handed him a sandwich. Most days turkey and cheese, sometimes ham if she could spare it, and a hot coffee in that same battered thermos. "Good morning, Joe," she'd say, soft but steady, every single day like clockwork. And Joe, well, he'd just nod, eyes a little brighter for a second, and say, "Thank you, ma'am." No fuss, no show, just 2 people on a street corner making the world a little less lonely. What Mary didn't know, what nobody knew, was that those sandwiches and that hot coffee, they were more than food, more than kindness. For Joe, they were a reason to get up, a reason not to disappear. Some folks get saved by grand gestures, heroics, miracles, you name it. Joe got saved by routine, by a turkey sandwich and a woman who didn't look away. And over time, those little lifelines stitched him back together, slow as spring after a brutal winter, but steady. He started to sit up straighter, talk a little more, even smiled once or twice when Mary handed him his breakfast, like maybe, just maybe, he remembered what hope felt like. Now, here's where it gets wild, and I swear if you told me this next part at the start, I'd have called you crazy because this story, it's got a twist that'll stick with you. Fast forward a year, maybe a little more, it's Mary's wedding day. Sunlight cutting through the trees, flowers everywhere. The kind of day you want to trap in a jar and keep on your shelf for when life gets ugly. Mary's standing at the end of the aisle, white dress, nervous hands, breath shallow and quick. You know the look, half terrified, half ready to jump into forever. Everything's perfect or close enough. Guests packed into the garden, phones out, music playing real soft, the air thick with happy tears and whispered jokes. Then the music changes, softer now, almost trembling. And there's this hush, this ripple of confusion as everyone turns to look because coming down the path, not from the house but from the street, are 12 U.S. Marines, full dress blues, medals shining like stars, faces carved out of stone. And right in the Centurno ones, breathing, now there's Joe. But not Joe the sidewalk shadow, not the man with the tangled beard and the 1,000-yard stare. No, this is Sergeant Joseph Miller, standing tall, clean-shaven, eyes steady, his uniform pressed, so sharp you could cut yourself just looking at it. For a second, even Mary doesn't recognize him. She goes pale, hands shaking, tears already starting, and nobody's even said "I do" yet. The Marines form an honor guard, silent, saluting as Joe walks the aisle. It's like time slows down, like every second is heavy with something bigger than all of us. Joe stops at the front, right next to Mary, and his voice is shaking but strong, and the whole place just holds its breath. He says, "You gave without knowing, you saved me without asking, and today we're not here just to honor a bride." He looks right at Mary, and there's so much in his eyes it hurts to watch. We're here to honor a hero. The silence breaks like a wave, first a sniffle, then another, and then this applause, this roaring sound that comes not from the hands but from the soul. You know what I mean? People crying, people cheering, and Mary, she just sobs, hugs Joe like he's family because, hell, at this point he is. But wait, there's more twist number two. Turns out, one of the Marines standing at attention is Mary's old student, a kid she'd stayed late to tutor years ago when he almost flunked out. He comes up after, shakes her hand, whispers, "You believed in me when nobody did." Suddenly, it's clear Mary's kindness didn't just save Joe. It rippled out, changed lives she didn't even remember changing. The whole room feels it, that electric jolt when you realize the small stuff is never just small. Not really. By the end of the ceremony, there's not a dry eye in the place. Joe Sergeant Miller gives Mary a salute that seems to carry the weight of every morning on 5th and Main, every cup of coffee, every sandwich, every moment someone almost gave up but didn't. And Mary, she laughs through her tears, says, "Guess I picked the right street corner, huh?" The crowd erupts, people hugging, strangers shaking hands, even the grumpiest uncle in the back smiling like he hasn't in years. The sun dips low, the light turning golden, and for a minute you forget about all the stuff that's wrong with the world just for a minute. But then, as the party fades and people gather their coats, someone asks, what if more of us just looked up, handed out a sandwich, saw the person instead of the problem? And that question hangs there, heavy and bright, because really, where does kindness start and where does it end? So, yeah, Mary Thompson thought she was just feeding a hungry man, but she was doing a whole lot more. She was piecing a warrior back together, one morning at a time, teaching a generation about hope, and showing the rest of us that sometimes the smallest acts echo louder than all the medals in the world. Now I gotta ask, what do you think? Is it really that simple, or did Mary just get lucky? Does kindness really save people, or is it just another story we tell to sleep at night? Drop your thoughts below, share your own stories, argue with me if you want, but whatever you do, don't walk by the next Joe you see. You never know what kind of hero you're saving, or what kind of hero you might become.